I solemnly swear that when we do these personality tests, I will give my honest answers in good faith. I will not give the answers that I think will output a result that will signal positive things to my audience just to use as a badge of honor. I will say my real opinion, I swear. Harry Potter reference? It's not a Harry, or is there a Harry Potter reference in the test? Because I promise you, I will not be referencing Harry Potter. In fact, I went to this website earlier and I hit random, and it gave me Hogwarts house test. And I thought, you know what? We could just play an hour of SAP instead. But I said, no. Let's start here. 32 questions on the food disgust test. I am not picky when it comes to different kinds of seafood. Hang on, maybe I could zoom in a little bit. I mean, like, it's not the best screen region, but we can live with this. I am not, well, you know what? No, I think it's good. You can see that beautiful piece of blue cheese there. My daughter, by the way, she knows that blue cheese existed. She said, Daddy, do you know that there's a stinky kind of cheese called Bluck cheese? And I said, Bluck cheese? You mean blue cheese? And she said, no, Bluck cheese. And then I said, what is Bluck cheese? And she said, it has lines of green in it, and it's very stinky. And I was like, that's blue cheese, silly. She was like, oh, blue cheese. I get it. Okay, saved. I am not picky when it comes to different kinds of seafood. I honestly feel like this might be a strong agree. I would eat almost any kind of seafood. Now, if you asked me, would you rather eat like a shrimp, or would you rather eat like some kind of mollusk where you're eating like all of its organs in one bite? I guess the shrimp is true too, but a shrimp is basically like just meat. But I'll eat an abalone, I'll eat a shrimp, I'll eat a squid, I don't care. I throw overripe fruit away. I'm going to give this a mild disagree. I will eat a banana regardless of where it is on the spectrum. It depends on the fruit, though. Like a soft apple, like an apple where when you bite in, it's like mealy and like a little bit brown on the inside, like those go into the compost bin. But a banana that's a little overripe, I eat it. I say, I'll give you a slight disagree. I don't mind if a slice of apple has turned slightly brown from being exposed to the air. If you cut an apple and you left the slices on the cutting board for 2 hours, I would eat the slice after 2 hours, no question. I would lose my appetite if I found a little snail in my salad. Agree 100%. That's never happened to me, but if I was eating food and I saw a bug inside of it, I would be like, I don't want to eat this food anymore, no matter how irrational it is. It's totally fine if my friends or acquaintances have touched my food. Given my history with foodborne illness, this might shock you, but I'm answering the questions honestly. Doesn't really bother me. I'm not going to make my friend put on gloves to, take a bite of my French fries or something like that. I would not eat avocado pulp that has turned slightly brown. I'll give you a mild disagree. I would still eat it. I feel uncomfortable when I see raw meat. Strong disagree. I feel no aversion to it. I eat bleu cheese as part of my diet and or when I am served it. I'm going to give you a mild agree. If served blue cheese, I will eat it. I don't buy it at the store, though, because if I bought it at the store, I would have to find a way to eat it at home, and I just don't see myself cutting off like a slice of stinking bishop and putting it on like a Melba toast or something. I would not mind eating an apple that had had a caterpillar crawl over its peel. I'm going to give you a mild disagree. I was thinking to myself, like, if I saw it, I could just rinse it off. But then I thought to myself, if there were 2 apples and the caterpillar crawled on one and I didn't see it crawl on the other, I would definitely eat the one that it didn't crawl over. And then I would be like, I'll eat the other one later, and then I probably would never eat it. So maybe it's a strongly disagree. You know what I was thinking? Maybe not we, but I have a problem when I buy lots of fresh fruit. Let me explain it to you before you get on me, okay? We buy a ton of fruit to give to our daughter for healthy snacks and desserts and to take to daycare and stuff like that. So you buy like a carton of strawberries. Maybe it's day 2. You pick out, I don't know, 8 strawberries to slice, 10 strawberries to slice. The problem is sometimes you see a strawberry in there and you're like, this strawberry doesn't look like a primo strawberry. It's not like moldy or anything, but it's a little soft or like it's a little purple or something like that. So you, or at least I, grab like the 10 best strawberries. But because I grabbed the 10 best strawberries, the bad strawberries next day are just getting even worse. And then by the time I get to like the end of the carton, it's all the cast-offs. And I'm like, I don't even want to serve this to my child. So you might say, hey, what you should be doing is grabbing the ones that are about to go. But then my daughter never gets to eat fresh strawberries. She's always eating strawberries that are on the verge of, destruction. And I think that part of the thrill of eating a fruit is eating it when it's at its freshest. We need to invent better pesticides, is what I'm trying to say. We need to invent a synthetic strawberry that is shelf stable so that every strawberry is perfect. No, I've gone too far? Okay. A Cavendish Dreamberry dipped in Mama Liz's Greek yogurt. I do not eat fruits that have marks or stains on their peels. I would give you a mild disagree. I would always choose a perfect looking fruit, but if there's only one peach left and it's got a little stain or something, I don't care. I'll go for it. I never or rarely accept food from strangers. This to me, I have in the past. I feel like this is just asking for trouble as a public figure. I would say I rarely accept food from strangers at this point. I feel suspicious if a friend has handled or touched something I'm about to eat. Strong disagree. I mostly trust my friends to have good hygiene and not deliberately poison me. It is gross it's gross if a chef in a restaurant tastes a soup with a spoon without washing it every time he does so. This is a tough question because it is gross, but I literally don't care. Like me personally, if there's like a boiling pot of soup and the chef dips a spoon in it, sucks the soup off the spoon, and then like is doing that all day, it simply doesn't bother me. So I'm going to hit you with a mild disagree. It's intellectually gross, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, when you think about it, like lots of food is gross on like a logical level. Like meat is gross, bro. I don't just mean like in the sense that it was like a living thing, but that was like hot, wet muscle wrapped in fur. And then you're going to be like, oh, the chef should really use a different spoon every time he samples it. Like it's compromised from conception, essentially. So I'm not going to have a double standard. Seeing a hair in my soup does not really bother me. This one is going to bother some people with my answer. Bugs in my food bother me for whatever reason. A single hair does not ruin my meal at all. I will pull it out and continue eating. Now, if someone like shaved in the soup, that's a different story, but I know I've said this before, maybe while doing this very test before. I wanted to see if my results have changed ever since I almost died due to food poisoning. But like if I see a hair in my food and I'm eating with someone who gets grossed out by hair, I would rather just eat the hair than be like, gross, there's a hair in my food. Because if I go, oh, there's a hair in my food, the person with the hair aversion is going to lose their appetite. And it's going to like harsh the vibes for the whole situation. I would rather just tank it. I probably eat like 1,000 hairs every day by accident. I will not eat marmalade from which mold has been removed from the surface. I don't eat marmalade to begin with, but I would give you like a mild agree on that one. The thing is, you might be saying, well, the visible mold is not an indicator of all the mold because it's got like little tendrils and stuff that are, spreading throughout the marmalade. But the thing is, the logical extension of that is even if there's no visible mold, they still got the mycelium in there, bro. Just because you haven't seen any like fruiting buds yet, that doesn't mean there's, because you just, at some point you have to realize there's mold everywhere. Like yesterday, I toasted a bagel. It was like 5:33 in the morning. So just, cut me some slack on this one. I cut the bagel, put it in the toaster. When it popped up, I grabbed the bagel, blue spots all throughout. I said, is that jalapeno cheddar? No, I don't think so. I'm going to toss it. Now, you, a fool, the bagel's gone bad. Me, a genius and rational thinker, that mold was already there yesterday in the bagel that I ate. It was just one day away from being visibly bad to me. But the progenitors of what would eventually disgust me were already in there. Like mold is everywhere. If you leave any kind of calorically non-negligent or what's the word I'm looking for? Not negligent. Non-insignificant foods out there, it will grow mold. We're eating mold right now. Like every time I breathe in, I'm probably consuming like, I don't know, a billion mold particles. Don't quote me on that one, doctor. It's just a matter of your tolerance for mold. And mine is not that high. I would probably not eat. I would make you, if it was a full jar of marmalade and there was mold on the surface, I would make you scoop out half the jar. I would not eat part of an apple that had a worm in another part. That's a gimme. If a worm has gotten inside of an apple, the whole apple is compromised in my world. If this is a starvation situation, you're eating the apple. But the fact of the matter is, when you buy apples at the grocery store, they come in like a 4-pound bag. You're usually not wanting for apples. If anything, you're like, what the hell am I going to do with all these apples? So you're spoiled for choice. Dirty silverware and or stains on utensils disgust me. Does not bother me in the slightest. Assuming that, well, like a stain doesn't disgust me. If you ate like General Tso's chicken and then you got like the saucy rice that's dried on the fork and then you're going to eat like something else with that, that's a little gross, but I think that's not really what they're asking for. I mean, I would use the same fork all day. That doesn't bother me. I cannot stand the smell of fish shops. I would disagree. Provided that the fish is not rotting, it doesn't bother me too much at all. I do not mind eating a salad that is not crispy anymore. I would say I agree. I don't fully mind. The problem where salad crosses the line is when the lettuce starts having brown goo on it. That's the end of the salad's lifespan. If you reach into there should be a test for this. If you reach into the spring mix bag, don't grab anything and pull your hand out. If you have brown goo on your fingers, put the rest of the bag in the compost. You're done. But if it's just like a little bit not crispy, if the leaves are like slightly wilted, I'd rather they were crispy, but it doesn't bother me too much. I would not eat in a restaurant where I had seen bugs in the restroom. I swear, I'm under oath. I'm not going to perjure myself. If I go to the bathroom and there's cockroaches or flies or millipedes on the walls, what do I care? They're bugs, bro. I would prefer not to see the bugs in the dining area, but like, they're bugs. If we could have gotten rid of them, we would have gotten rid of them by now. We're holding them back. That's the best we can do. We could say like, this is a bug exclusion zone. You're not allowed to be in here, but we can't eliminate the bugs. It is sickening to eat bread from which mold has been cut away. I'm going to give you a neutral on that one. I don't think it's sickening, but I would probably not do it. I wouldn't be disgusted, but I probably would. I would rather eat something else or maybe just not eat for another half hour. It is nauseating to have a whole fish, including its head, served to me on my plate. Disagree. Not nauseating at all, but inconvenient sometimes, because now you're picking at the whole mackerel with your chopsticks and you're trying to like do the perfect grab of like the spine so you can peel the muscle off of it, but you end up getting like tons of bones and like weird organs and stuff in it. I don't mind the whole fish. I'm just saying, me personally, I prefer a fillet, but it's not disgusting by any stretch. I find it gross to eat hard cheese from which mold has been cut off. I'm going to disagree. For whatever reason, cheese is the exception to the rule. Maybe because Parmesan Reggiano is so expensive. If it gets a little bit moldy, you're not throwing out $18 worth of Parmigiano Reggiano. You're cutting off the mold, and then you're microplaning the rest into your pasta. I don't find it gross. I do not eat cucumbers that have ripened so much that they can be bent. Disagree. Bending a cucumber is still, as long as it's still a little bit crispy, is still edible. Where you get the bad cucumber is when the flesh has started to pull away from the peel. So instead of being like a circular cucumber, it's like a sunburst sort of pattern. That's where it's ready for the compost bin, in my opinion. My mouth waters when I see a whole pig on a skewer. This question should be on the psychopath test. My mouth does not water in any circumstance. I am not a dog, but I would find it an appetizing sight, yes. It is gross to eat raw fish like sushi. It is not gross. I do not like to eat steak that is still bloody inside. See, this is where I'm almost like, is it like a Magic the Gathering thing? Should I answer the question in the spirit of the question or the literal question? I don't want to eat a steak that's quote unquote still bloody in the middle. I want it cooked like, one level later than that. But I would disagree. Like red juice coming out of a steak doesn't bother me at all. I don't even mind when the red juice comes out in such prodigious amounts that it mixes with the mashed potatoes, and then you get like pink mashed potatoes. I'll eat the pink mashed potatoes. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. So I guess I got to go strong disagree on this. I would never eat those new snacks and dishes that are made from bugs. I have to give you a slight disagree. A bug that's not supposed to be there in food, disgusting to me. If someone said, here's an appetizer, it's spicy crickets, I would prefer not to order it, but I have tried them before. I've had the crickets. I have bondegi a lot in South Korea, thinking that at some point I would grow to like it, but it always just tastes like sour dirt. I've had cricket protein powder. I don't like any of it, but I certainly could not say I would never eat them. I do not drink from the same glass someone has already drunk from. It's a strong disagree. As long as it's, well, I got to think about it. Because I was thinking about it like if it's my wife. I would definitely drink from the same glass as my wife. But I do not like to sip my friends. You know what? I might actually be like, I might be in agree on this one. Because here's the test I'm using, okay? If I was out for beers with a friend of mine, not my wife, but a friend of mine, and we had 2 different beers, and they said, you should try this, I would definitely say no thank you. I know what a stout tastes like. I know what a Hefeweizen tastes like. It's more like, I don't think that you're going to make me sick, but it's kind of like about the principle. Like that's an unforced error. I don't want to get sick just because I want to drink 3 milliliters of your beer. That's too much. Now, if you were like, here, I'm done with this, and there's 2/3 left, I'd be like, slide it over, brother. But if for one sip, I'm not risking getting the common cold for one sip, okay? I don't know where I'm at then. It's not the same thing. In one, you get 2/3 of a beer. In one, you get one sip. You get different rewards. I think you're a neutral on this? Okay. It's disgusting to eat a banana that has black spots. I disagree. Almost every banana I eat has some black spots on it. I do not eat potatoes or carrots whose skin is shrunk a bit from aging. Strong disagree. You literally just cook them until you don't even notice anymore. I feel disgusted when I chew on irregular bits of animal meat. No. They are all the same to me. Fat, gristle, cartilage, meat, doesn't bother me. I'll chew it until it's ready to be swallowed, or I'll spit it out discreetly in a napkin if I feel like I can't break it down enough with my teeth. All right, now before I finish, sometimes these pop up like, they're like, hey, your IP address is this. Is that correct? So just give me a second here. It did not do that. I appreciate that. Food disgust test. I am undisgusted by animal flesh and poor hygiene. Mildly disgusted by human contaminants. What is, I guess human contaminant is like my friend offering me a sip of their drink. Mildly to medium disgusted by mold. Not that disgusted by fruit. Undisgusted completely by fish. Undisgusted by vegetables. But I do not like bugs. I will eat the bugs, okay? I just don't like when the bug is eating the stuff that I'm supposed to eat, and what I'm supposed to eat is not bugs. That's what bothers me. I think that's reasonable. Okay, let's see what else they got here. The Cambrian explosion video messed with your psyche. The video is disgusting to me. I would rather, like, have cockroaches crawling all over like a slice of watermelon that I'm going to eat than have like a diatom visible within like 50 meters of my location. I know they're invisible. I can't do anything about that. Trust me, if I could, I would. I am entering the war on diatoms on the side of extinction. Okay, hang on. What's great about this website is that like half of the tests pretend to have like some degree of scientific rigor, and then the other half of them are like, which character would you be if you were in Better Call Saul? Which of the 7 Roman emperors you resemble the most? Okay, just give me a second. No, I want to see if I'm insane. I want to see if I'm crazy, okay? How about this one? It's not an IQ test. It's an intelligences test. See what ways your brain enjoys thinking. And again, I'm under oath. I pledge to answer these logically. Not logically, truthfully. I will not misrepresent myself to try to get the result I want. Caught? Are you book smart or money smart? I linked it to Librarian yesterday. I didn't know, like I knew Jay Easy was running in his videos. I did not know that he was kind of quick with it. Like I'm not talking about the music videos, but there's like videos of him training, like running down the street, chasing a car. And he's speedy and he's kind of lean with it too. I didn't know. I thought he was just like a guy, but like he's booking it. Okay. I am interested in writing poetry, quotes, stories, or journals. I'm not interested in writing them. I would say no. Not quite strong disagree, but no, that's not my tempo. I'm usually good with animals. I would say I am better than the median individual with animals. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't have any other reasoning. Disagree? How would you know? I'm at the kids' birthday parties, and then the dog comes up, and I'm scratching him under the chin and going, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" And they're going, "Actually, our dog's a girl." And I'm like, "No, sorry, it's a dog, so it's a boy. I know how it works. I got two cats. They're boys, but they're girls. Whenever a stranger comes over, they're like, 'Wow, what a beautiful cat you've got.' And I'm like, 'Actually, he's handsome. Nice try.'" I am good at detecting dishonesty in others. I don't know if this is going to be a +2 or a -2. But I think that this question is basically asking if you're stupid. I feel that outside of like maybe CIA interrogators, like 99.5% of the population is exactly the same at detecting dishonesty in others. Is that crazy, or is that the sanest thing I've ever said? Like, you ever have somebody be like, "Oh, I always knew something was off about them." And like when something comes out about them and they're validated, they're like, "Yeah, I'm a really good judge of character." And I'm like, you literally say that about everybody. You fucking hate everyone. And then it comes true once and you're like, "I'm kind of like Mindhunter, actually. I'm kind of like the smartest person that's ever existed." I don't think I'm good at detecting dishonesty in others. I think I'm exactly the same as almost everybody else. I have always excelled in math and science at school. You're not going to like this, but this is well, it's tough, right? Because in elementary school, middle school, and high school, we're like here or here. But then in college, it's really more like a here. And you're like, well, but college is like the closest it gets to being real. Elementary school is just like, memorization. So I would probably, I don't know though. I'll just level with you. I'm kind of fucking cracked at algebra. My algebra is, and you'll be upset about this because I do get it wrong, but it's because there's such a large sample size. There's lots of outliers. I'm good at back of the napkin probability, okay? Versus the norm, not versus you in chat who are so proud of your PhD in combinatorics that you're here shitposting at 9:38 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'm putting myself here. I can tell when a note is off key. I got to give you a strong disagree on that one. I cannot sing. I'm good with numbers. I actually, for the most part, am. I can learn better if things are accompanied by charts, diagrams, or other technical illustrations. No. It would actually be better for me, instead of showing me a diagram fully labeled of like how a car engine works, if you wrote like a 35-page story that explained how car engines work, I would be more likely to hold on to that knowledge. I like to spend time going deeper and deeper into the things that are going on within me. Am I an introspective individual? Yes. I think you have to be when you start talking to yourself like 10 hours a day, playing The Binding of Isaac. You need to, otherwise what would you talk about? Did you see the Super Bowl yesterday? Yeah, I can't believe Travis Kelce only had one catch for 1 yard at the half. Like, thanks for the gifted subscriptions. You'd lose your mind. It would be so boring. I enjoy spending time alone processing my own emotions and reactions to things. Sure. I like languages and or the social sciences. I do. I enjoy learning about how the various world religions have attempted to answer the big questions. Now, here's where I'm into the big disagrees. I actually don't care. Maybe like one time a year, I'll start to think about cosmological questions, what existed before the Big Bang, et cetera, et cetera. The rest of the time, I'm like, I would rather talk to you about what you had for lunch today than like what you think is going to happen after you die. Maybe it'll change someday, but for now, I'm like, I'm a surface level Andy when it comes to this. Save that shit for the smoke circle. So true. I like measuring or categorizing stuff. I like categorizing stuff okay. I don't care to measure. Give me a neutral. I enjoy sequential puzzles. This is a tough question. Because a Rubik's Cube, I don't see it as a sequential puzzle. I guess Sudoku's the same. For that like 3 weeks when I was solving Rubik's Cubes, it was way less about like solving a puzzle and way more about just memorizing the algorithm and the satisfaction of executing it like a little bit better every single time. It was not like, oh, because of like we just did this, I observed something, then we have to do this. It was way more like clockwise, rotate the cube 90 degrees this way, counterclockwise once, rotate the face counterclockwise twice. Like it was way more like, it's the Helldivers Konami code. It's like, it's better to put it in, you know, it's not like I'm like, I love pressing the buttons. It's like, I love, because I've done this so many times, I love to do it again. Anyway, I'm going to give you a neutral on that. I keep going over deep questions about life and existence that seem foolish to others. I don't know if they seem foolish to others, but I don't spend that much time thinking about, you know, the higher order purpose of life, I suppose. I like tending the gardens and plants. Strong disagree, but I do like mowing the lawn. Questions like where is humanity heading or why are we here are of interest to me. I would say moderate disagree. I enjoy stories. I enjoy history, but like not in the existential, metaphysical sense, I think. I find it easiest to solve problems when my body is in motion. This question doesn't make sense to me. Peloton? Yes, I understand what thinking or what exercising is. I just don't, I reject the premise. I've never had, I'm not trying to be pedantic, but I've never done an A/B test where I like do algebra while I'm riding the bike versus doing algebra while I'm sitting down at my desk. I feel like I'd be better at solving problems at my desk because I wouldn't be spending so much energy trying to exercise. It means like life problems. But you don't like, I find it a false premise. You don't solve life problems, you just make a decision. And then you like post hoc rationalize that you solved it, but you couldn't not solve it. You had to do something. There's no way to evaluate your solution versus the myriad other solutions that you could have done. So how do I know if my solutions are better if I'm in motion versus at rest? I pace on the phone, but I think it's just because it's like boring. Do you address problems while in motion? I have no idea. I can't answer. I'm going neutral. I feel like this question does not make sense. You could divine from that what you... There should be a button that's like, I don't get the question. And maybe that would give them another data point. Others often come to me for support or advice. I am a bad friend as a shoulder to cry on. I'm just not good at it. I can sympathize, I can empathize, but I'm just not that guy. Then people, they learn pretty quick. I vividly remember details about furniture and the interior decoration of rooms that I've been in. Absolutely not. 0%. I would say sometimes we'll be at like someone's house and then later that day, Kate will be like, yeah, I really like their sofa. And I was like, me too. Maybe you could tell me like exactly how it looks so I can remember it. I remember sitting on it. I remember what that felt like, but I couldn't really tell you anything else about it, quite frankly. I enjoy learning about different species of plants and animals. I'm going to give you a double disagree on that one. Not fully disagree, but if anything, I think there's too many different species of plants and animals. I'm not saying I wish that there were less plants and animals. There could be the same population, but just like less species, because it's just like, come on, man. This one's got a swim bladder. This one's got, you know, lungs. This one's got a prehensile proboscis. This one's got pointed ears. This one's got round ears. It's just too much, man. It's just too much. Get over yourself. I spend a lot of time reflecting on my own reactions to things. I think that's true. To thine own self be true. My litmus test for this is that after I ban someone, later that day, I go back through the ban log and say, did they deserve it? Most of the time, the answer is no. But also, most of the time, it's bad enough that I do need them to submit an on-ban request. See, Prezzo said, I kind of get it. Well, I think as a streamer, you get it. It's like maybe you're half tilted. Someone says something that aggravates you and you ban them. Later that day, when you're at an emotional norm, when you're back at your set point, you're like, they were mostly just joking around. Like if I was in a better mood, I wouldn't have banned them. But then you read the message again and you're like, but they should know better. They were trying to elicit a response and then they elicited a response. So, fuck around and find out a little bit. But we can meet in the middle. You can say, sorry, I said that. And then I'll say, in most circumstances, that probably wouldn't have led to a ban. But when you're already tilted and then you're pushing someone a little further, it can happen. That's how it goes. I'm better at remembering faces than names. I'm pretty good at remembering both. I don't know what else to say. You've seen me do Celebrity Mashup. Is this a fair test? It's way more often for me to see someone's face and be like, I can't remember their name, even though it doesn't happen that often, than to see someone's name and be like, I don't remember their face. But I feel like you see a lot more faces than names on the average day, so I don't know if it's a fair comparison. It's very rare you're looking at like an attendance roll and you're like, I don't remember what this person looks like. I don't know. I'm going to give you neutral. I'm good at both. I draw charts and tables to help me think. I'll give you a moderate disagree. I construct analogies. I like sewing, carving, model building, and other activities that involve dexterity. No, I'm very impatient when I work with my hands. I spend a lot of time thinking about the emotions of others. I'm not trying to gas myself up. You're going to say you're a sociopath. It's not true. It's a mild degree. I'll tell you why. To be able to make fun of your friends, you need to have a reasonably good idea of where they're at emotionally. If your friend is like having a hard time or you've been laying it on too thick, you can't be like, yeah, your mom, fuck you, you fucking loser, you fucking suck, you gotta wait till they're on a high and then you probe them to see if they're ready for it and then you hit them. And if they're having a bad day, you gas them up a little bit and then you cut the legs out from underneath them and then you gas them up. There's a cycle to it. You have to know the emotions of others to like get along with them, of course. You got to read the room. I'm pretty good at reading the room, okay? I enjoy learning new words and or languages. I would say yes, but I'm not like one of those freaks about it, you know? I'm often humming a song or tune to myself in my head. Yeah, I give you a 2-star on that one. I feel the most alive when I am in contact with nature. No. It's not to say I don't enjoy being outside, but I'm not Walter Mitty. Like if I had to go on a trip to find myself, I would not go to like a fjord and just sit there and look at the mountains for like 6 hours. I would probably try to like read a lot of books if I had to guess. I am good at making a good impression when meeting new people. I think this has changed over time. I think I used to, you know what it is? Before I was more connected to the normal world when I was not a streamer. Because I had this streamer brain a little bit. It was always a little tilted on the axis compared to the average person. Not staggeringly so, but a little bit. But 98% of my time was in the normal world. And I made a pretty good first impression. But now I have this outlet where I get validated every day for my unusual thoughts. And as a result, I've lost some of that connection to the normal world. And I think when I make a first impression, people are kind of like, I don't think they dislike me, but I think they're like, this guy's not just a normal guy. They're like, this guy's got a little flavor to him, and we're not quite sure where he's, you know, if you like it, you like it, and if you don't like it, you probably find it like aggressively annoying. But I think we're in 1-star red territory right now. It is also true. I saw someone say, as you get older, you care less. I wouldn't have thought so when I was younger, but it is true. Now I'm like, I mean, I'm 35. It's pretty much just like this till I die, right? So like, I mean, that's a long time horizon. If you end up alienating a couple of people because they like don't like the jokes that you like, it's not so bad. There's always more people out there. Not everybody has to be a fan. That's okay. I often look things up in the dictionary. I mean, this is an insane question. I don't often look things up in the dictionary, but I probably look up more shit in the dictionary than like at least 90% of the population, if I had to guess. So is this relative to what I would think is a lot, or is it relative to what the norm is? I think I'm at least at a two-piece. It's easy for me to identify how I feel and why. Yeah, I would say for the most part. Usually I'm like, why am I so grumpy? And then I'm like, oh, because I haven't eaten anything. I haven't eaten anything today because I'm hungry. Why am I tilted? Oh, because we were supposed to leave for the grocery store at noon. We agreed that we were going to leave at noon, but instead we left at 12:03, and it threw off my fucking mojo for like the next 2 hours. How many questions do we have? I spend a lot of time analyzing my own emotions and reactions. I do, okay? I do. I am good at reading maps and finding my way around unfamiliar places. I'm under oath, okay? You may not believe this. That's a problem between you and your cerebellum. I am not bad at navigating, including reading maps, in the real world. I swear it to you. I even, ever since our SD card out of our car got stolen, I'm driving around Vancouver with no nav. No nav, Jerry! This street is in this neighborhood. Here's the roads that run east-west. Here's the streets that run north-south. Here's the major thoroughfares. Like, you know, my ass is not going to be driving on like 40th. When instead I could be on 41st, where it's like 2 lanes and then a 3rd lane that sometimes gets opened up at rush hour. Like I can navigate in the real world. Something's just not right about me navigating in video games. I don't know how to explain it, but like in video games, I get turned around a lot. In the real world, I don't get turned around basically at all. Sure, it's happened occasionally, but I'm out of the fucking house all the time. So I am good at finding my way around. I swear it to you. I am always discovering new kinds of music. False. I am listening almost exclusively to the same music that I listened to in high school. But it's good music because I was not cool. Instead, I read Pitchfork Media. So on the bright side, at least it's not Simple Plan. It's not Sum 41, you know, ride or die until I'm fucking 80. Like, it's good stuff, but I often contemplate questions related to theology or philosophy. Perhaps sometimes philosophical questions, never really theological questions. I got to give you a two-piece negative there. I don't mind getting my hands dirty from tasks that involve creating, fixing, or building things. Okay, here's the thing. My ideal chore is being outside, shoveling snow, mowing the lawn, raking leaves. You get a little exercise, you get a little vitamin D, and I get that power wash simulator sort of like, you know, we're 10% done, we're 25% done, we're etc. But I do not enjoy creating, fixing, or building things. The way that I create things with my hands is just sticking the Legos together and then taking a step back and being like, whoa, this looks like I could make it into something. It's almost always a big rectangle, so I make a big rectangle. And fixing or building things, I am, for IKEA furniture, I can do it as long as I put myself in the right mindset before. I almost have to hit myself with like affirmations. I have to go like, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to read the instructions. I'm going to double check the length of the screw. I'm going to double check the orientation of the piece of wood before I screw it in so I don't end up with the particle board on the outside and the painted side on the inside. As long as I start with good principles and keep myself on an even keel throughout the building process, I'm okay. But the second I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and then I'm like, it's all wrong. So I have to give myself, I would rather shovel snow than build IKEA furniture 100 times out of 100. I would never ask for variety. I'm often pondering the meaning of life. I'll give you a one negative. I like taking long walks in nature alone or with my friends. I do like taking long walks alone. I love reading. Neutral. I like reading. I just don't really do it. Music is one of my biggest interests. I like it, but no, it's not one of my biggest interests. I enjoy singing or playing a musical instrument. Well, I enjoy it, but I'm not sure that people enjoy it when I do it. I guess I'll give you a 1 green for that. I enjoy challenges that require lateral thinking like chess. What's lateral thinking? I enjoy chess, but I don't know what lateral thinking is. Sequential versus lateral? Maybe you could just tell me the definition instead of its op. You do it when you play chess? Yes, I derived that. Thinking through multiple lines of play? Okay, then in that case, I'll give you a 2x. I do like that. I am good at mediating disputes or conflicts between individuals? Nope. I'm very avoidant and non-confrontational. I would even give you a 3x on this one. I'm interested in sports to some degree, sure. I like dancing, sports, or working out. See, now here's the thing. You got me looking like some kind of 80s aerobics instructor, okay? I don't like dancing at all. Why are you pitting two bad bitches for each other instead of against each other? Working out is a meditative act. It's what a monk does in a monastery in Kathmandu. You learn something about yourself. You develop your discipline. It's not just shaking your ass and doing the drop it, then pick it up challenge and swiping your nose like a credit card. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're being derogatory to the spiritual value of physical exercise here. No disrespect to dancing. I don't know how to read this. I feel like I'm being insulted a little bit, okay? See, because here's what bothers me. Now, some of this, I don't think I have 83% intrapersonal intelligence. I think that's a little bit optimistic. Oh, wait, intra is within myself? Never mind. That makes perfect sense. 30% interpersonal intelligence. That feels a little, actually, that feels more like an insult. I know what's going on inside of me. Come on, I'm good at reading the room, man. I'm good at reading the room. But 57% linguistic intelligence, I kind of feel like they're taking a shot at me. But then I'm taking issue with the entire test at this point. Can I tell you why? Because it didn't ask you how good are you at these things. It said, do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy this? No, I'm saddled with linguistic intelligence. You know how much I would love to look at a technological diagram and be like, I know how an engine works? That shit is like Neo learning Kung Fu in the Matrix, dude. It makes no sense to me. I can't do it. Instead, I got to read like 300 pages of a manual and be like, oh, this is just like when Odysseus saw the sirens and strapped himself to the mast of his ship in order to not get seduced by them. Like, that's not the way that it should work, man. But you didn't ask, are you good at it? You said, do you like it? Anyway, good test.